Welcome to Date Night with the Lunas. How are you?
Oh, it's still
What?
the same stuff. Break halfway. Sorry, sorry. One break halfway.
Right. Just
Sorry.
Villa, I guess. I don't have the
Yeah,
street,
Fairvilla
John.
in Florida.
Okay.
Fairvilla in Florida. I'll commit to halfway for you. Have a good show.
Good evening. Welcome to Date Night with the Lunas. I'm Angelique Luna without my date, John C. Luna, there here on BFAM 109.6. What has happened is I'm back after 9 days being away and frolicking around the friggin' world and universe. I'm just like, wow, I am. But to kick it off, I'd like to thank our sponsor, Fairvilla University, that strives to provide a judgment free learning experience where every student has the opportunity to learn about sexual health and wellness. We do various different topics, classes, and that's a little bit. So check them out at fairvillauniversity.com or fairvilla.com and check out their classes. So I'm trying to do SDC and YouTube, Facebook at once. So if the camera angle is a little bit different on SDC, it's like my tech guy's not here. So work with me. Literally, do work with me. So um fantastic trip. Absolutely fantastic. It was well needed. I did a presentation over at Phoenix in Scottsdale, Scottsdale, Arizona for She Podcast, talking about why should you care about content censorship? Because that's a big topic that's happening here in our world, and trying to get people educated to understand the laws that are affecting all of us in regards to content censorship is a big thing, because there was a law created when the internet first boomed out called the Communication Decency Act. Snooky, how are you? So I just was talking about my presentation. So and section, it was like considered section 230. Well, it was just to help control obscenities on the internet and protect others. Yes, I hope you stay awake too, because I need some company, Snooky. I have ADHD really bad, but I missed you. I really did miss you, Snooky, because it's like you make everything well. So for Facebook and YouTube, if you're asking like who the hell she's talking to, we have SDC Live. And so we have several of our SDC members who support us, join us in the chat room and talk and interact with everybody. So from section 230, the obscenities. So people automatically were like, oh, we got to, control sex trafficking and human trafficking. And so they created FOSTA SESTA, fight online sex trafficking. And then SESTA is sex. I can't remember right off the top of my head in regards to the laws, but they are supposed to fight sex trafficking and then human trafficking, but they don't. They're censoring everybody because the way the law is written, it gives liability for whoever the end user is, such as Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, social media, all those are the ones that get fined if something I wrote is on their website. So that's how FOSTA and SESTA works. So it was helped to control. The reality is it's a loophole to have people do whatever the fuck they want. What people don't understand, it has caused more damage than good. So a lot of sex workers have gone underground. They're going to the old ways. So a lot of them have died when the law, we got censored too. I was so livid because our email address and our website, Sex Positive Me, and I was in the process of negotiating some media exposure here in Orlando, and then boom, censored. I was like, hate you. But in the end, the person who signed into law got censored too and banned, and it was like, rah, rah, rah. I'm like, dude, you wrote the law that got you kicked off these websites. So sucks to be you. Read the fine print and do that. So SDC, hopefully the angle is good. I know it's like tech guy is sick. John is very, very sick, which kind of sucks. So I've come back from a vacation, have not kissed my husband, not hugged my husband, have not touched my husband, let alone have sex with my husband at this point after, 10 days, no, I think I'm going up to 15 at this point because I came back late Friday. So thank you, banker. So that was my presentation in Arizona. Then I decided to go to Disneyland. Disneyland. I was like so excited. Actually, Halloween Horror Nights first, Hollywood, and then Disneyland. So that is, yeah. Well, it's too long for my husband. Yeah, and I'm sorry if I, but yes, I'll get to the juicy part, the stuff that you all turn into, and it's going to be, it's going to be like a kind of deal. So yeah, I went to Halloween Horror Nights. I'm a big Halloween Horror Nights fan, so I've never done Halloween Horror Nights. Um, what do you call it? Hollywood. Banger. Don't worry, it was a short, and I kid you not, less than 30-hour trip in Los Angeles. I flew in, arrived at 4 o'clock LA time. From the airport, we went straight to Universal Studios. Ate there, I think. Did I eat there? I can't remember. It was that crazy that we were. Oh yes, 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 yes. We did. We ate at the Springfield. We ate there. It's been a great lowland. Which one's the great lowland, Yogi? So while Yogi tells Netherlands, I bucket list. So want to. I have global TSA, so I have a valid passport. Fuck, if I get funding, I will travel everywhere because after this trip, it was the best thing for me. Maybe not so much for hubby because he was left behind, but I needed to do that. I will come banger. I am thinking next year because I want to do it a little bit longer trip to Los Angeles because I want to stay more than one day at Disney. But it was well needed because I have my dearest friends. We've been friends for over 25, so we're more family because I even know their in-laws, the whole family. So it is like welcoming that. When I went out there and we were going to Disneyland after we went to Halloween Horror Nights and had our scare and all that fun jazz, because as an intuitive psychic medium, it's crazy what I see and talk to the dead. So I get to see all these crazy shits and I'm just like, oh, it's annoying. So yes, Universal Studios Hollywood has some haunted studios that I could feel and see the dead. Not so fun, but okay. Uh I enjoy that. And Holland finds you now. Yay, Snooky! You guys gonna have to write this whole list. And I promise, I will try to organize an SDC only. So that way we could do like a little bit more, more SDC like videos because with Facebook and YouTube, I have to behave because our station managers already had some challenges with some of his other shows, which are so stupid what they did. Because one of the other shows makes soap dicks and she was just demonstrating how it looks. They got censored. I'm like, wah, wah, wah. Really? It's just a soap dick and they're just showing you. The dead can be fun, but the living people can be lots more fun. Oh, absolutely. What do you think about the situation in Belarus? Where I I'm sorry. I know nothing because I've been like offline for 9 days in Belarus. If you could tell me what's going on, it's like I'm interested. I just don't know what the situation is. I know I'm doing far bad as what do you call it? ADHD here. So we went all day Disneyland, and then that's when I got called out by my dearest loyal, like my bestie. She's my ride or die, and I've known her for quite some time. And she's like, "How bad is the shit hit the storm at home?" And I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "The only time you run out for a full day from Orlando to LA to go to Disneyland is because the shit hit the storm." I'm like, yeah, shit. Do you make porno films? No, I don't make porno films. So the shit that hit the storm, if y'all been following the story for the last couple of weeks, in regards to Connecticut Boy and John, that's the whole reason I ran away because Disneyland has, and my LA family has always been my safety zone. They've always been my, like, I need to be comforted. I need to reset. I need to figure out who I am because I got swish wash really, really bad. So it was we talked, but she has been my friend for like I said, 30 years, family, does not really understand the dynamics of how my life is now. Very, very open, sexually, especially with a bisexual man and open relationship, teaching about sex and relationships, talking about sex, having multiple partners. Yes, I get tested. Yes, my partners get tested because we gotta make sure that we're all safe. And that was the other thing that cracked me up laughing when I went on what do you call it, on my trip, was that all my boy toys, which is like literally Drew, which everyone knows about Drew, and then my other boy, JC, that he's been like 25 years with me and just as playmates. They're like, that's good that you got away. It's good you got that you did this. And I was just like, you don't talk to each other and you're saying the same shit. Like, I really needed to get away and just basically run away. So, it was like I did it once with my girlfriend. We went to Daytona Beach just to get away, and because we both are in the same boat, we work and live with our husbands 24/7. So, there's really no break in between, our life, our personal life, and then, what do you call it? Business. So it's always like we're, together. So this was the perfect break. It was the perfect. I mean, I know I did 2 nights at Daytona Beach, or yeah, it was 2 nights. We did 2 nights there because we had really, fun girl conversation, fun girl talk, all that. And then I did this trip. So originally, I was not supposed to go on this trip because I was financially thinking, okay, going to the podcast, talking about, censorship on an all female podcast, and they probably won't like me because I talk about sex and I'm Mexican and kind of deal. But then when all the shit hit the fan, that's when I'm like, I'm going, I'm going to present. I worked on the presentation all by myself. I was so proud of myself. I did it within the allotted time. I got things. I was super happy on it. Then the shit hit the storm, and that's when I decided to go to Disneyland. And then at the same time, Connecticut Boy asked me if I wanted to come and visit him and that we meet in Boston. And I was just like, you know what? You're one of the reasons why I'm doing this like getaway trip because you kind of ghosted me and I just left me hanging and did some shit that I'm just like, okay, but weren't there when I needed to talk to you about processing our last trip, our feelings and emotions and all this stuff. And mind you, that just it hurt. It hurt a lot. And then I was getting shit from John. And then I was getting blamed for things that decisions that he made because he thought it would be good for me. And I'm like, whoa, 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 no, 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 no. I've always been like, I'm the girl that you tell me up front everything. I don't care what you're doing. If you're dating other people, you're fucking other people, and whatever it is, be open and honest and straightforward. All cards on the table. I want everything on the table, all the dirty secrets, all the dirt. I would just want all because I want to know. It's just psychologically, I don't know. It's always just like give me a thrill and the rush that I just want to know all the details. It's like it's not going to hurt me that you're going out dating other people or fucking other people, but if you're getting like emotionally connected, I need to know so that way I know how to handle it because I'm not one who shares emotions easily, hence the whole Connecticut boy that I just totally lost my shit that I'm like, I just told another man that I love him in a romantic state, not just like a friend, not just like, oh, we're best buddies. I love you like a friend kind of shit. No, like I romantically, genuinely, sincerely love you. I am in love with you. And it was something that I I needed to process because this girl doesn't do that. Love, not in my vocabulary. For real. It's just like, it's yeah, it's kind of deal. And here I was, caught in a situation that wow, and like really wow. And then I got some backlash. I couldn't talk to the Connecticut boy because he wasn't available, and that pissed me off and that hurt me. And yes, I was very hurt. At the same time, I was very hurt with John. And when that happens, when I get hurt, I shut down. Emotionally, I shut down. I put this big wall. I'm like, you know what? I'm going through the motions. I'll say what it is, kind of deal. So, because of all that, I decided to schedule an appointment with a mental health professional that focuses on emotional trauma. And I think it's called I Rapid Motion Repair, ERMD. I think I can't remember, but I know it's something to help to rewire and reprogram your emotions, especially like if you had like a childhood trauma, which I have plenty, being Mexican, domestic abuse from my first husband, yeah, that was like mental, physical, emotional, psychological too, so financial for sure, financial abuse there. So I dealt with that. And yes, there was a time even with John, I did hit a moment that it was like, fuck, he just hurt me really bad because he was going through kind of like the kid in the cookie jar syndrome. Like there's all this candy, and I gotta go, I get it. And if I don't get it, I get upset. So because of how I am, I'm like, go fuck how many people you want, come back, tell me stories, doing something. There was a time in our relationship we would go to a swing club, and you know, I always consider myself as a hot chick. I was like, sure, no problem. It's like if we don't fuck anybody, then that's fine. I still get to get fucked by my man. Yeah, no, that wasn't. He got upset and he said some things very hurtful, and I never had sex. And it got to the point that I never wanted to go back to a sex club or a swing club or anything with him, because if he didn't get fucked by another couple or fucked by another person, I was going to get the lashing. And I did. I got a lot of lashings for it, and it really hurt my self-esteem and it hurt me, but I loved him. And so I thought, okay, we could work this out, and that was never resolved. So that's why I'm going now and then to fix it. I'm trying to resolve that negative emotional trauma that I was like, you have a hot girl here. And that's also goes back to like some of the older stuff, like when he first was doing poly and how he transitioned. Um, and how I handle it with Connecticut Boy, that I still made him the priority. I still made John number one. I made sure I was there. And I made the mistake of being very much emotionally available for him. So to reassure him that all this stuff, it's like, first off, Connecticut Boy is in Connecticut. I mean, it's like, it's not like I could, you know, go down the street every week or every weekend to go hang out with him or do that. I mean, right now, this is like, this past trip was the first time in 2 months I saw him, and it was amazing. It was great. We did have the heart to heart conversation because I'm like, look, we got to set up expectations. You can't do what you just did this last 2 months. You weren't available for me. You stopped listening to the shows because it made you uncomfortable that I was talking about us. So this is going to be the last show that I will be mentioning Connecticut Boy at all from my personal, because I love him very much. I do want this to continue as far as it can be, because we got a lot of things cleared up and set up boundaries. And he knows I'm a public figure when I'm doing all this, and he lives a more quieter, you know slower pace of life. Because if you've met me and from the shows, I'm very high energy, I'm very chaotic, I'm all over the place, I'm the face, all these yada yada yada, that's the whole thing. um the thing is, it's like, it hurt a lot that, here I am in love with two men, and neither one of them was available for me. Neither one of them could even like take a time out of their whatever shit that they're doing to just check on me and see. It had to be until Drew came in. And Drew, who is my special case, who I'm like, I shouldn't be coming to you. I don't. I shouldn't. I should have not have come to him to talk about these things, and I did. Um, and that got Connecticut Boy upset, because this is supposed to be a fun relationship. It's supposed to be exciting, entertaining. It shouldn't be purple. And I said, well, too late. I got hurt. I really got hurt. And the only reason I came up here to see you was the only way I could guarantee a face to face conversation and process these things. And we did. We sat, we processed. I really did not want to do it via pillow talk, but he kind of pushed it, to tell you the truth, because he was like asking questions about, hubby and how's it going and da da da. And I just like, I did not want to talk about it. And he kept pushing. It's like, why? And then I was like, why? Because of you. It's like, because I needed to talk to you. I needed to process things afterwards. I needed to really get out of my head in regards to the fact that I just felt madly deep in love with a guy who's about 3,000 miles away from me, who's married. And this is a complicated like situation, and I could need to talk to you at least once a week. That's all I was asking. I wasn't asking for much because it's long distance and he was starting a new job. I know it's busy. He has teenage kids that, they go to soccer and they're the coach. And it's like, I get it. I get you're like super busy, but once a week, 5-minute conversation, couple texts here and there. I wasn't looking for much. And I was just like, okay, fine, let's talk it out. Let's see how we want to continue. Do we want to continue this as boyfriend girlfriend, or just like as convenience, like girlfriend experience, which, I'm well qualified for that. I am well qualified to do the girlfriend experience because, like I said, it's easy for me to detach the emotions from sex kind of deal. But with Connecticut Boy, it was kind of, like that. And a couple of my people and close people that know me very well know that I am thoroughly upset because if you go back to older episodes of the show, I did give him his name, but I took it back and just called him Connecticut Boy because he was not worthy of it. But now that he just doesn't want to be on the show, I'm like, okay, then Connecticut Boy dies today. It's just, well, not like dies, but just, silence. Um, if John wants to talk about it, he needs to figure out how to talk about it without not really mentioning it. And then it's like I I would love to continue and let you know all the details, but again, I being respectful to his wishes because I do want this to continue. It was nice. I enjoyed it. I mean, he talked up and says, "Yes, I'm still on the dating site that we met and dating." And I'm like, "Okay, that's fine. That's cool." And he took it kind of like confused. And I'm like, "I get it. You still want to go out and date." And I just deactivated my account. He's like, "Why'd you deactivate it?" I'm like, "Dude, I just told you I'm an emotional wreck between the two guys I fell in love with. And how the fuck am I supposed to go out dating again when I am my house is not in order?" I cannot mentally and emotionally do that. Start going out with a new guy or, a new sugar daddy just because, whatever. But it's like I was just, and he just blushed and he was so he felt so bad because he even said that. And I'm like, yeah, you're not really paying attention to the story on what's going on here. And all the experiences and things happening. But it was nice because it's like it is still kind of like a new relationship energy, which normally it lasts like a couple weeks to maybe a couple of years, all depends. And it's like I know we're still in it, I know. But now that he knows my concerns, he's trying to be there. um he kind of impressed me the last couple of days because he actually listened to what I was saying. And I was like, okay. So he's making an effort to make the changes that I requested. And it wasn't anything major. It's not anything that I'm asking. It's just like, if we're supposed to be boyfriend, girlfriend, I actually would enjoy, you know, a conversation, even if it's like once a week or just like a few texts, just giggle and laugh here and there. Um, it's like he went through kind of like like rough periods, things like that, and he just didn't want to like call me to just like vent or dump on me. And I just like just call it or just call or text me and say you just need to pick me up. It doesn't mean it's like if you want to tell me, great. If you don't want to tell me, that's okay too. But you're just looking for a pick me up, which I find very amazing that this chaotic, crazy, over the top girl brings some peace. I'm like, what? it's like John tries to make this meme of call my crazy wife, I need to calm down. Call my crazy Mexican wife, I need to calm down, said no one ever. And I'm like, yeah, who would think a crazy, hyper, I don't want to say chihuahua to a certain type, but yeah, there's times I can be. Um, calms people down. And I'm like, okay, this is like pretty fucked up. I just didn't think that. But and he's still, Connecticut boy is still learning quite a lot, about me. And primarily because I'm an intuitive psychic medium who does see and talk to the dead, and I'm very sensitive. So any paranormal activities, anything that's like, out of like woo woo and it's kind of spooky that you see on those like paranormal shows. Yeah, I pick that up. I actually see shit. And I'm like, ugh. So the hotel he picked this time is considered one of the most haunted hotels in all of Boston. I'm just like, really? Really? And then it's like, yeah, we took an Uber from the airport to the hotel, and the Uber driver was so excited. It's like, yeah, you get to see these two cemeteries. And I freaked the flip out. I was just like, two cemeteries next to the hotel. And the Uber driver could not understand why the fuck I was freaking out. And then Connecticut boy just like, just like, oops, I'm sorry. I'm like, you didn't do your research, did you? Did you? Mm. But it did get to the point that we did go into the elevator once, and we stopped at the mezzanine level, and I cannot close the door fast enough because I could feel the activity. And I'm just like, no. And he's like, oh, did you get that from the portrait? I'm like, there was a portrait. I didn't even notice because I feel energy. And once it starts like my hair's crawling, I'm just like, done, done. And I really wanted to do some of the ghost tours and see some fun stuff, but it was just like, no, just no, no. But I really wanted to do apple picking. That was the one thing I wanted to do, but we did not have enough time. I wanted to go apple picking because when I lived in Chicago, we used to do that a lot when I was a kid. So we did that fun stuff. Um, and then we did some more fun stuff, of course, of course. And it's interesting because, like, with him, the sex is slow. It's vanilla slow, like really. Sometimes it's sensual, sometimes it's not. But I mean, he even says my sexual level is higher than he could handle. I know it could be a little bit too much for most people, but it's like it was just interesting, just like the comparison. But compared to like the first time, in August, he was like huffing and puffing, and this time he wasn't. But he's been on his exercising on his bicycle since August till now. So it made a huge difference. So for you folks out there who think that exercise will not make a difference, it does. It helps with your breathing, it helps with your stretching, helps you so much. So to have amazing sex, always exercise. It's the foundation. I know I've seen a lot of change with me because I've been training for the Disney Wine and Dine Half Marathon, which is coming up in 2 weeks, November 7th. So this week I need to put in some like 8 to 10 mile runs. So I know I'm ready for the 13.1 mile run on November 7th. And the temperature is finally cooling down here in Florida. So it was like 75 degrees today, which was really nice. So I'm like, oh, I could go for a run. Considering like everywhere I was traveling, the weather was like 50s and 40s. And I was just like, it's so cold. I'm gonna die. I literally, like, when I was at Disneyland, I had like a t-shirt, I had a turtleneck on, sweater, and I had another sweater on, and I had my black leather matrix coat. So I was like freezing. Yeah, I don't do well in the cold, so that's why I'm like, I can never move up north. I can't. It's like either further south we go in Miami or go to Costa Rica. That's going to be more my thing. So I just wanted to take a quick break because we need to switch to our other sponsor. So yes, I'm Mexican, Mr. Latina man. Oh, I totally forgot we did music. And we're back on BFAM 109.6. This is Date Night with the Lunas. I'd like to thank our sponsor, Florida Hormones and Wellness. During this year, we've gone through our hormone therapy at the Florida Center for Hormones and Wellness. If you check out our YouTube video documenting our progress for the last 3 years, John's done it for 3 years. I do, what do you call it, 2 years, and it has been fantastic. The benefits, like I said, I'm training to do a marathon, went today to get my blood work. And then, what do you call it? They said I'd look athletic. And I'm like, that's so cool because I have been busting my ass for this marathon. Kind of deal. So I'm really excited. So do check out Florida Center for Hormones and Wellness and our YouTube so you can see the documentary of everything that we have done, everything that we have accomplished from losing about 70 pounds together between John and myself. And it's like when I was out on my trip to Los Angeles, it was like, whoa, what happened? Did you? I'm like, yeah, I lost 35 pounds since the last time anyone has saw me from the West Coast. And it just felt fabulous. It felt great. I was able to keep up and walk everywhere. It was fantastic. So back to the closing saga of this is the last wah 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 cause chatter of Connecticut boy. I did say that I was going to do that because I was going to respect him. And I was like, ah. But he's right now a very pivotal point, important to us. But it's like, okay. But he knows this is the last show. He knows. He knows. I think, it's trying to like say it. So, because he hasn't listened to any of the other shows, because the first show he listened was the one like right after our date in July. That was the last time he listened to the show because he couldn't like handle hearing, he got excited and really, and then it's like reality hit in because he's a very private guy. He's very private. So there's hardly any photos of the two of us, or, I do have like some of him, but like separate. So we don't have photos together. It's like, wah, wah, wah. It's like, I like it. Because I noticed like when I came back and did my photo dump, I have a shit ton of photos from like Disneyland and Halloween Horror Nights, but very little of Phoenix and Boston. I was like, ah. And I did visit some cool places in Boston. And it's like, I didn't even shop much either at Boston because I was just like, so wasn't thrilled. But I needed a new, like, what do you call it, hat. And I was also looking for props for my costume because I wanted to run as Dr. Facilier for the wine and dine, but I kind of like pushed it off and it's just like, yeah, not going to work out. But I will see what I can make it do. I will do kind of deal. Do I offer private lessons, Mr. Latina Man? We will have to discuss that online because I do have some services that I do offer on Sex Positive Me. But if there's something specific that we would need to talk there. So because I know I do things that normally normal people don't do because I just love my life. I love doing stuff like that. But while we were up in Boston, technically I kind of gave him the credit, even though I did all the legwork. Because we wanted to do a male, male, female, and with another bi male. And while he was at work and I was in bed, I was like, okay, let me just put an ad on Double List. So for folks who are not familiar with Double List, it is just a website that is equivalent to Craigslist back in the days, personal ads. Where you could find, romantic rendezvous or one night stands, or like, sometimes sugar babies and sugar daddies there once in a while. So Double List is that version of Craigslist personal ads because Craigslist doesn't do that anymore. I put it out, and I kid you not, within 45 minutes, less than 45 minutes, I already like got 10 responses. I'm like, shit, I can't handle too many. So I had to, like, as soon as I put the ad out, I took it down immediately. And, it's a numbers game. So, you talk to 10 and you try to figure out. And then one of them, he did not show me his photo, professional reasons, all that, but gave me his stats, was a gentleman. Look, I understand, but I would love the opportunity to come and meet you and see where it goes. And I was just like, dude, you made me laugh. One, you had stimulating conversation with me. Two, three, at this point, I really don't care what you look at. I will give you a chance and I will have sex with you because you really got my loins going in every direction. Because yes, I am like I'll admit I'll be the vanity and I do like the physical attraction, but if you could really make me laugh and hold a mentally stimulating conversation and not just like hi, what's up? Yeah, I'm here for the sex. Yeah, yeah. I'm like, I cannot tell you how many of those ads I actually went through and had the conversation with like one word sentence. And I'm like, does this actually work? Does this actually work for people to really um like get turned on and say, okay, yeah, what's up? Here's my dick pic. Yeah, let's fuck. I'm like, no. I'm like, no. I'm just like, seriously. And then there was an ad. Okay, so I forgot to say there was like an ad, like a by male looking for a couple to play with. And I'm like, okay, fine. Trying to figure out how to work their kick. And I did. I did the kick. And I was like, okay. And he responds, good morning. I'm like, I wrote you a full sentence asking that I'm responding to your ad. I'm interested. What are you available? I put full detail. And I also emailed him, but since I was already in the midst of going through and figuring out who we're going to meet up, what's going to happen, what should I time it, should I space it? And what happened was that he just got aggressive and it's like, well, I texted you. Why can't you text me back? And I'm like, you texted me good morning. I'm looking for just tonight. Um, no, just like no. If you just start rubbing me the wrong way like that, I don't care how hot looking you are, how rich or however, I will just like stun. No, I'm not touching you. I will not go out with you. I will not even take a clothes off, let alone kiss you after that kind of behavior. I'm like, I need some substance here. And then there was another guy that I was chatting and he said he's well met. So the what we're gonna just call him Roy. Roy was the one who stimulated my mind and just got everything going. And he just made the comments like, "Well, why don't you just get all of them together at one time and see who you go with?" I'm like, brilliant idea. I am going to do that. Are you able to meet at this time at this place? Blah blah blah. He's like, sure. I was like, and then he was like, well, I just want to make sure. I'm like, dude, are you going to bail? He's like, no, no, no. It's like this was your idea. He's like, no, I'll still be there. I'm like, fantastic. So he came and he was like guaranteed. He was already guaranteed that you know what we're going to have fun. We're definitely going to have fun. And then there was this other guy who I should have known. Red flag, totally red flag. Gave me an alias name, and then when I met him at the location, gave me his real name, and he was just like, ugh. I was like, okay, red flag, inexperience, should have known. Because even in my ad, I was very, very descriptive in what I was looking for. It's my birthday. My boyfriend wants to spoil me by giving me having a male female experience with another male guy and share a cock to make out with. And that was like straight up what I said. And it just was like, wow, this guy showed up and I should have said no to him because he had like the creepy vibes, hardly any talked. And Roy just felt bad because he was like dominating the conversation and getting it. And of course, Connecticut boy was like super shy, did not talking much, and felt kind. He looked a little awkward, but at the same time, extremely surprised on how quickly I like got this ball rolling and going, and how um it was a numbers game because originally we were supposed to meet like three guys at the location and only two showed up. The third one just ghosted me, did not talk to me or anything. I'm like, okay, fine. And then what do you call it? So like that's how I said number game. So I started off with 10, ended up with two, and ended up with one good fun time because the creepy guy, what happened was my boy went to town orally on Roy, and to me, it was hot as fuck. It was just so hot as fuck. Again, last time I'm talking about him on this show, but it was just like, it was so good just to see him. It's just like, to me, that's like my biggest turn on seeing a guy suck another guy's dick. It's just like he was going nice and slow and sensual. So I was dealing with the red flag. I'm just gonna call him red flag at this point, and slow. snails even when he came. Like, I was legitimately rolling my eyes, like making like what the fuck fingers up, like eye contact with Roy. So Roy and I were like very like animated with each other and talking and lipping, and while my boy was on his knees doing his thing, and it was just it was just so hot. I'm sorry, it was just like friggin' hot seeing him like that. And so Roy came in my boy's mouth. He enjoyed it. He enjoys cum. And then like and then once the red flag just got up and left, I'm just like, go, go, go. I was just like, and I was just telling Roy, it's like, no, you stay here, Roy. It's just like, yeah, I was just like, I just had like a blast chatting with Roy and talking on what was all going on. And my boy, he was just there and bliss and happy. And I was like, good. And then, unfortunately, Roy didn't have enough energy or possibilities to come back up, so he could not have sex with me. So I'm like, wah, wah, wah. So we just did oral, and my boy just sat in the chair, just, looking hot wifing the whole time or whatever. I don't know what else to call it, just sitting there watching me. And I was just like, it was just so hot. It was very hot just seeing him just watching me just go to town on the guy and just seeing him just super aroused. And oh yeah, fun times. It was fun. And so I kind of had to like twist his arm and just say, hey, thank you for doing this. I'm so happy. He's like, you did all the work. And it was like, you did it for my birthday, and it's like, this is my birthday gift. So trying to get it. He's like, oh, okay, yeah, happy birthday, baby. It's like, I know I did all the legwork to get my birthday present from him, but I'm totally 100% okay with him to take full credit on it and then wish me a happy birthday, that I was good and I was happy about it. I was just like, that's all I wanted. It was just, it's. So we still have a lot of like social cues situations that we miscommunicate back and forth, but we're still working on that. But unfortunately, I can't tell you how it goes moving forward because this is the last show. I promise. I know I keep saying that because it's like I really enjoy my time with him. I'm really happy. Um, I'm ecstatic. It's a different life altogether, and it is something that I never truly expected to happen, but it did. Um, I'm riding the high wave as long as I can. And, of course, my husband, John, will always be first. I will always put what I need, but at the same time, I'm not going to affect my self care. I'm not going to sacrifice myself in order to make him feel better. I already did, and I got hurt, and I got hurt really bad. Um, that we're both seeing different therapists to work on what we're doing. Because yeah, this is like it's a lot. It's not as easy as you think. It's, if anything, working with non-traditional relationships, ethical non-monogamy, it's much harder to navigate and work than a traditional monogamous marriage. Some people find it easier to just cheat, as my boy is doing. Others, I'm very open and honest, cards on the table, just tell me what's going on, make me feel better. um and then others, it's just it takes a lot of work, a lot of communication, a lot of negotiation, a lot of giving consent, a lot of self-discovery. That's the big thing that I think some people forget, that you need to know thyself before and love thyself before you could even love thy partner and love thyself. Because if you're not able to communicate what your wants, needs are, and what you're desiring, then it's not going to work out. It's just going to be like a shit show after a shit show, and keep repeating the same habits. Of course, you're not going to, get something new if you keep going after the same thing. Um, I've been a sugar baby and a mistress for many, many years. I know how to play the game. I know how to hide the emotions. I know how to do the disconnect. But I also know how to pet the ego and feed the ego there. So for me to actually break character per se with my boy, it he did an impact on me. So I don't know if there was already something that happened that did that. That's why I'm going to therapy to make sure. I definitely want to make sure our relationship is solid between John and myself because I do love John. I really care. And it's like, but I can't do to the extent of like sacrificing myself anymore. I can't do like, or him sacrificing his lifestyle choices or things for me to make me happy. And it's like, one thing we want everyone to know, it is not somebody else's responsibility for your own happiness. Only you are supposed to create your own happiness. Right now, that's what I'm doing. Is there some backlash? Of course there's going to be backlash, just because there was a system that technically didn't seem flawed, but when a new equation popped in, all the flaws came out, all the things, um skeletons in the closet all came out, and they came out like fist first, punching the whole 9 yards, and I'm just like, yeah. And and nobody likes to get hurt. Nobody likes to be crying for hours on a time, or crying and trying to figure out, it's like, hey, it's like that was just wrong, and I needed you, and when I needed you most, you weren't there. It's like, where were you? And that was for both. That was for both boys, and it's just it got me to the point that it's like, what is the purpose of being in love? What is the purpose to be in a relationship if they're not there when you need them the most, and you're always pouring out? And I was just like, yeah, yeah, it's time to take a step back, check in, check in for me. And that's what I did. This trip is what I did for me, even though, like I said, I was to go see one of the cause of the problems. And he sincerely felt bad. He did. He really did. And he doesn't want to give me up, but at the same time, he doesn't want to see me hurt. And I'm like, well, too late. That already happened. And that's why I'm here. I want to talk it out to see, are we continuing or not? And after 3 days of discussion, which I was like, damn it, I was only expecting one day, but he pushed it. He really pushed by trying to figure it out, because it is intriguing. It is exciting. Trying to see how our relationship between John and I works so well. Having multiple partners, being in a business, talking about sex, and reality. I had to pull the curtain. I was like, it's not been peaches and creams. We've had our faults. We've had situations, especially in years past, that yes, I did throw the D word. I was ready to, like, that's it. And I know it's like kind of petty, but I forgive them. I do forgive, because if I hold on to this energy, I hold on to all this, I'm just doing a disservice for myself. And I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to be in pain. I don't want to be upset. I don't want to be in misery. I don't have to be worrying about it. We have a lot to do, podcast wise, classes wise, because theoretically we haven't done a podcast since April, but we've been doing BFAM 109.6 since April. So we have been consistently every week doing shows. And then, like, in June and July, we've actually done what do you call it, Date Night with the Lunas. Consistently every week. And I know we haven't asked for like Patreon or special things, because we just haven't had time to really think. But I know several of you have reached out and say, hey, how can we support you? How can you, be there, or have like one-on-one times or classes? It's just like, okay, that's something I'm going to be coming up for the last couple of weeks. I'm going to be working on some coaching programs, some other one-on-one sessions. People like, we do have like the Tantric Touch, which is a conscious erotic touch that I do. It is, we can't technically call it a massage. It is centrally touching and working with energy. Um, on our massage table. I've been doing that for quite some time. John, I mean, we're both certified tantric practitioners. It's just John's been more on the technical side and working. I've been more the hands-on. So I will be upping those kind of services again and offering them. Also, see where our classes are. I think, don't quote me on this because shit, I said this earlier this year. Like the only trip we had was not in New Orleans, and all then the rest of the year I'm just like, where am I going? Who am I going with? What the hell? Because we did Exotica twice, we did New Orleans twice, I went to Boston twice already, and I still have November and December. Who knows what's going to happen? Hopefully, John will be feeling better, and that we will what do you call it, sent him away to Pig Week down in South Florida, where he could enjoy a week of debauchery and come back anxiety free for 3 months. That I love that. I love an anxiety free John because it's just fantastic. It's wonderful. But yeah, like after this couple of trips, I think I'm going to do a little bit more adamant self care. I'm really going to be doing more of that, and back to my old ways to a certain extent, because I do enjoy being the sugar baby, but I think I'm going to start looking into doing girlfriend experiences, because that's always like an adrenaline high for me, just making someone feel special and feel all the missing emotions and desires that they have from like all their different partners or marriages or relationships. That I enjoy that rush of high and making somebody feel alive and lusted and loved per se, and just giving them that touch, human connections. I know, like with COVID slowly going away, a lot of the workers are coming back in full force, and going to like strip clubs, going out and dating, because it's like, yeah, um yeah, don't judge me, because that's what I prefer to do. Get paid for my time, but it's quality time. It is the time because I put a lot of time and psychology in regards to what does the human body look for, what is the connection they are, and I know right now people are needing that. Even just basic cuddle services, like 30 minutes of cuddling. That's it. It doesn't have to be sexual. Fully clothed, cuddle time, boom, there you go. That's like the fun stuff, doing it. So everyone seems so quiet over at SDC. Did I kind of bore you? Because I know you're like looking at, and I know you're probably hanging out on all these like last few conversations of my boy. And it's just like, things, how to handle it. But I do try to keep a fair balance because, John is my primary, John is my husband. And, we've been together for 11 years. And I want to make sure that he feels confident and secure that no matter what, he will always be first. And that is something that he needs to figure out. What is it that he needs other than the emotional draining of like reassurance? Because I could only pour out of my cup until I'm completely drained. And what happened was this last couple of months, I ended up draining myself, and I didn't want to be resentful. I didn't want to be hurt, and just mean and vicious, because when I got my cold streak, when I'm pissed and I'm angry, dude, you just better run or just change your name, because I'm not pleasant. And John has seen that from how I treat other people when they like do me wrong. And he said he never wanted to feel that or experience that. And unfortunately, he did. And it is something that I'm working on, per se, on not doing it again anytime he hurts me. So that's why we're in therapy right now and going through it. So moving forward with the show, uh, if John wants to talk something about my boy, he has not. He's going to be. It's going to kind of be interesting to see how he cannot mention him, because I will do my very best not to mention him on the show, out of love and respect, because he's a private person. I'm an extrovert queen. I love sharing all my juicy details and stories and adventures. What are we doing? So we'll move forward in regards to that. Oh, but another fun that I'm going to be start to do, and I'm trying to collaborate with one of our friends, is that she's an amazing writer. She does write erotica, so I will be doing audio clips of her erotica. So I will be telling erotica stories, and then I'll be posting them on the various different websites. So I don't know which websites yet. I still need to set it up because it's like it's like I just got back Friday night and I've just been nonstop going since I back. So and I still have to go and I'm still running behind on some things. I was just like, oh my God, this is insane. And oh I think I did something wrong. I just have to realize that. Uh a lot of things. So yeah, like now it's clicking. Like even like the last coming day. Yes, back, Davey, Steve. Uh, thanks for coming on. Yes, I had to. I really did. I had to get everyone updated and caught up because it's a lot, Dave. It's if you need to go back and catch the replay in regards to what everything is and yeah uh I like getting tongue twisted because, like I said, my boy, he asked not to be back on. Yeah. I'm feeling okay. John's the one who's sick. I just poured out a lot of my feelings in regards to the situation between Connecticut boy and John, and regards to moving forward. How this is going to be discussed, how it's going to be handled. I really needed this trip for the reset, and it's been the best thing ever for me to reset and get back to me. To a certain extent, I'm not going to lie, I totally, absolutely enjoy the snail space of my boy. He lives like slow. It was a nice slow pace, so I could like just do it again, just go back for a couple of days, just, just slow and decompress and do that. So it's good. Yeah, I definitely wanted to let you all know what was going on and feeling. And I got less than 3 minutes. I don't know if you have any more questions I could answer in the 3 minutes before I sign off. And next week, can't believe it's already November. And it's like, maybe I should start making like lists or plans of like how to survive family during the holiday season, especially when you have like alternative relationships. And it's like so freaking insane on it. So just want to know if those are the topics you want to talk about moving forward. So ideas and things. So anything? I know. Your family knows about your turn. Oh yeah, my fam. I am so out of the closet. Everyone knows. Do I get the eye rolls? Absolutely. I'm Mexican. I get the eye rolls. I get like, why you have to do this? But I'm like, and I tell them I'm making money, and they're like, then shut up. So it's like everyone knows on the thing. So yeah, it's like as long as I'm making money and paying my bills, that's all my family cares about. Typical Mexican family. What do you expect? Same with John's family. Honestly, it's the same reaction. Are you making money? Are you happy? Okay, fine. Then you do you. Yeah, because it's just like being out as a openly married bisexual couple, having several partners and having a sex and relationship coaching business. It's like, yeah, it's it gets comical. Yeah, a lot of times at the dinner table, they just kind of ask, "Work doing good? Yeah, I'm busy. Yep, that's it. Nothing more. No more details of finding." It's like, okay, so you did this sex counseling, coaching with so and so. How did that work? It's like, well, yeah, I massaged their body and just like really not considered. It's like I can't have those conversations with family. I can have it with you folks, totally, hands down. And it's like, hey, book services, that's even better. It's like and support us, but that's the thing. Not your normal family conversations. I wonder what my family would feel about a poly type relationship. You know, it could go. I could tell you several different ways it could go. It could go very good to the don't ask, don't tell kind of situation to like, why are you doing this messed up? But I've also heard like there was actually, we have one good friend that it was okay if she was cheating on her husband and they were together. But if it was everyone knew and it was open, that was bad. So yeah, kind of deal. All right, I'm getting the countdown clock. I do have to sign off. Thank you so very much for tuning in with Date Night with the Lunas on BFAM 109.6, and we'll see you next week. Take care. Bye. Thanks, Dave.
Guess what? You got me. There was no music at the break. There used to be, and you had it right and I had it wrong. I had to go back and look at the outline.